Evening Tabernacle Christian School. Tonight we're going to have a little bit of a different orientation than what we've had in the past, being a virtual one. I'm just very excited to be able to be here tonight and be able to even do this. We really didn't know what this school year was going to look like, and I'm so excited for this upcoming year with all of you and the teachers and the staff, myself and Pastor Small. We've all been really praying for this upcoming school year, and we've been just asking the Lord for guidance and wisdom through each circumstance and through each guideline, different thing that we've had to put into place. I'm praying that you're going to partner with us in trying to keep our students and you all, your families, as safe as possible throughout this entire pandemic that we're going through. And I just pray that you would just encourage your kids. There are a lot of different things that we are putting in place this year, but always know that we have the best interest of your children at heart, and that we want them to grow both spiritually, physically, emotionally, besides in their learning and their education process as well. So everything that we do here keeps that in mind, and we want to make sure that we're doing what the Lord would have us to do for this upcoming school year. So welcome, and this has been our school crest for the last couple of years. The heart of education is the education of the heart, and that has been our motto for the last, like I said, the last few years. And that really goes along with what I just said, that we're looking to educate the heart of the child and not just all the other areas, like I said. I'm just going to run through real quickly the staff. Pastor Michael Small is the school superintendent. I'm the principal. This is Andrea Small. Dave Payne is the head of the school board and also the business manager. So many times if you have anything, issues financially, if you can call and leave him a message, that would really help alleviate some of the stress the different things that I do. I am happy to help you whenever I can. I do have access to the fax accounts, but he knows a lot more about it. I'll try and answer the question, but the majority of the time I will try to relay the message to him, or if you can just contact him directly, that would really help us out. The elementary teachers this year, for our K-3 teacher, and we're calling more the preschool area, is Mrs. Teresa Hicks. Our K-4, K-5 teacher is Mrs. Christine Gentile. Mrs. Charlene Moses is our 1st and 2nd grade teacher. Mrs. Angela Martell is our 3rd and 4th grade. Mrs. Elizabeth Filbert is 5th and 6th grade. They have all been teachers here for many years, and we're looking forward to working with them again. For the junior high, we have Mrs. Georgiana Maxner, Mr. Spencer McGall. They do the majority of the teaching throughout the classes, but Mr. David Weir also teaches a class and is also going to be monitoring a few other classes. Then Pastor Michael Small also teaches a few of the classes. Support staff, Mrs. Christine Carvulis, she's our school secretary. She is mainly going to be in the school office for the first few hours of the day. After that, I will be answering the phones. So if you have anything that you need to get a hold of me urgently, you may need to page my office. Mrs. Kathy Rose, she is the fine arts teacher. She does the arts. She also is our volleyball coach and has done works in many different areas helping us out. Miss Wanda Stanley is our main substitute teacher. We are also going to be possibly having some other substitute teachers who have been here in the past. Our arrival time. We do not have any before care or after care this year. So just know that please don't start dropping off your children anytime before 7:50. At 7:50 is when the door will be unlocked and students can start arriving. The students are not going to be sitting in the fellowship hall during in the morning like we've done in the past. They are going to go directly to their classes. The 7th and 12th graders, remember, they start 10 minutes before the elementary students do. And so the late bell is 8:10 for the 7th through 12th graders. They should be seated in the auditorium by 8:10. The elementary students should be seated in their spots in their classrooms by 8:20. I'd like to go over the parking lot guidelines, and mainly this affects drop-off and pickup. There's no parking here or up there throughout the entire day, really, but especially for the morning and the afternoon, because it disrupts our flow of traffic and trying to get everybody out of here. If you are new, or this is where you're going to come in through this way, you're going to drive right down this way and around, and that is where you're going to drop off the kids. Do not pull up to the tunnel entrance during the morning arrival. The reason being is we have kids coming and going, and there's nobody that's standing out there. So if a kid comes running out of the tunnel, there was one time that vehicle came right up in front of the tunnel, and they could have hit a child. So there are cones that are there for a reason. So please don't go past the cones, even if the cones aren't up there, unless there's someone waving you down that way. Follow this path and drop off your kids right there. During dismissal, there are times when it's raining that we have the staff that stands right inside the tunnel, and because there's someone there, you can pull right up for dismissal. Because at dismissal, there's someone there and we don't have to worry about the kids running out. But you'll see us waving you in. If you have questions about that, or you're new to this, then please let me know, and if you have any questions. The dismissal times for, if we have any half-day students, which we do have at least one, they can be picked up, if they want to pick up right after recess, it's 11:50. If they're staying for the lunch time, but are still only staying half day, they can stay till 12:15. All other students are dismissed at 2:40, so they have to be picked up between 2:40 and 3 o'clock is the time period. And like I said, please observe the parking guidelines during that dismissal. Remember that there's no aftercare. So if you can't be here and it's 3 o'clock and that's a regular occurring thing, then we are going to have to charge you a little bit of money, because there's not going to be anybody to stay. It's going to end up being me, and they're just going to end up having to sit at the table, socially distanced. So please arrive by 3 o'clock. I understand completely when there's an emergency, if there's a traffic accident, if someone got sick or something like that, but that shouldn't be a recurring incident that takes place. It should just be, every once in a while that a child may not be able to get picked up right at 3 o'clock. And message me, communicate with me so I know. If your child needs to be picked up early or arrives late, please send in a note to the school office or send me a message through the Remind app. That way I know who's still coming. If they need to leave early, we can try to have them ready for you. When you arrive, please text me on the Remind app or call the school office for me to send the student out. If it's a younger child, I will walk them out. If it's an older child, I will watch them on the camera after I see that your car has pulled up. We are really, really trying to keep the least amount of people in the building. So as parents, if it's an absolute emergency, then of course you can come in. We ask that you put on a mask when you come into the building. But if it's not an emergency, there really isn't a reason to be everybody coming and going. So that's what I said, if you can communicate with me when you're arriving, I can send out the child when it's time, or I can walk them out, whatever we work out. So just communicate with me, and just know that we're really trying to keep the in and out of the building at a minimum. This is something that started last year, the box tops for education. Every once in a while you can still find one of the ones that you clip out, but the majority, and we are still accepting those if you can find one. But the majority of them say scan on them now, on the top of the like cereal boxes or whatever they're on. If you download the Box Tops app and you put in Tabernacle Christian School, all you have to do is whenever you go grocery shopping or go to Walmart or Sam's Club or anything, you're able to just scan that receipt onto the onto the Box Tops app. And once you do that, it automatically puts the money onto our account, and twice a year they send us a check. There was only a few people doing it this last year, and with that we were able to get a couple $100. So if more people contribute to that, then it does help bring things in. And the things we use it for, things like updating playground equipment or doing, updating some electronic equipment, that sort of thing that really does benefit your child. So if you just take those few extra minutes, it really doesn't take long. It's only every 14 days. You can't scan it after it's been 14 days. So if your receipt, you need to scan it within those 14 days. Otherwise, you can't scan it. Communication. I'm going to talk more about Google Classroom later, but just initially, all teachers will have a Google Classroom with an email attached to that. So you can email them or even write a comment in their Google Classroom, and they will check that, as soon as whenever they can. Please use that to communicate with your child's teacher. You can also sometimes message them on the Remind app, or I can give them a message, but it's better to go straight to them first, and then if there's an issue or something like that, then you can bring it to me. But if there's something that you just need you have a question about, the majority of the time, I don't always know every single thing that's going on in each classroom. I can't tell you the spelling assignment. I can't tell you different things like that if your child needs it. So try to message the teacher. They aren't on call 24 hours a day, so they may not be able to get back to you that evening. But if they happen to be on and check it, then I'm sure that they will respond. Parent packs get sent home once a week. I believe that all of our teachers send them home on Fridays for the entire lower end. So those will be signed and then returned the following day. Snow days. They will be communicated through the Remind app, and it's also posted on WMUR. And it's also posted on the TCS Facebook page. If you're not already on the Facebook page and you have a Facebook account, please come and like our page and follow us. And that way you can get updates sometimes even faster than on the Remind app. Remote learning. I've sent out all kinds of communication regarding this, but I'm just going to give a quick summary of it. Remote learning could take place this year. Our prayer is that it's not going to take place for long periods of time. But I would be naive to think that there's not going to be some time throughout the year that we have to quarantine for a 14-day period, or that for a few days. It could be that someone has an exposure, they have a possible exposure, they're waiting for the test to come back, comes back negative, and then they're able to come right back to school. Please make sure that you send your kids here and you know that they are healthy. If they have an ongoing allergies that have been, there every single year, your child has a little bit of sore throat when they get up in the morning and things like that, that's not what I'm talking about. It's new symptoms that you have to watch out for. If you have a question about it or concern, or you're not sure if you should send them or not, always message me and we can kind of work through it and I can figure out if they should be here or not. I hate for you to come and then be here and then me have to call you immediately afterwards. I'm sorry?
You're a registered nurse?
Yes, I am a registered nurse, so that does help with some of the questions, and I really am trying to follow the different CDC guidelines and different things that are out there. So please call or talk to me, or mainly send me a message. But the fastest way to reach me is through the Remind app. I do try to respond whenever I can. There are times when I'm overwhelmed with everything going on in my own life, and I have church, and we have 7 children, and we have exchange students. So I try to get back to you as soon as possible, but there are times when my phone's charging in the other room, and I just, unplug like anybody else does. But as soon as I do get the message, I will respond. This is for the discipline. Mainly the lower end use the How I Act, and each it's an acronym for behavior and different things. So if you see that on their charts coming home, then you know that that's it's more of a issue. If they got in trouble for not doing their work, or their attitude, or they kept talking in class, or they're touching inappropriately or something like that. Those are all things that they could receive tallies for. But all of the elementary students also, or teachers also have a reward system in place in their room. So it goes both ways, both the tally system and the reward. Same way at the high school, we have a violation system where if we send the violations home, I really want you to sign them and send them back to me the next day. If I don't get them back, I try to communicate with you and say, hey, that your child has violent violations in their backpack and they haven't returned them. If they receive 5 violations in a quarter, they do end up with a after-school detention. The merit system is a way of awarding those kids who are doing really well and not receiving violations, and who are, it normally has been perfect attendance. Attendance is going to be slightly different this year, because if your child isn't feeling well, I want them to stay home. I don't want them to be so concerned about coming for perfect attendance or anything that they're going to be, that they're worried about being here. So, with the attendance, you're still going to receive an absence if you have 5 unexcused tardies within a quarter. But the 20 absences is also the maximum allowed for the school year. But if you do your day of remote learning, you turn in your work for what is given to you for that day, then that does not count as an absence for that day. So say your child's out for a week and they complete all of their work for the week that's on that remote learning, they're not going to receive any absence for that time. Or if they're just not feeling well, you're unsure and they're out for that day, as long as they complete the work that is given to them and make it up, whatever it is, when they get back, then they aren't going to receive a absence. So the biggest way that some people are going to receive absences is through those unexcused tardies. Please make every effort to be here on time with your children. It is very disruptive and hard on the class when people are coming in 10, 15, 20 minutes late and the teacher feels that they have to start all over again. So please make every effort to be here on time. More regarding communication. There have been many times throughout both the last year's remote learning and then throughout the summer that I try to communicate with different people, and I have a hard time receiving any communication back. And sometimes I think it's the way that you have your Remind app set up. If you don't have the actual app there, or you don't receive a notification when there's a message there, if you can change it in your settings that you receive a notification, or at least go in and check the Remind app daily if you can, even if it's just in the evening and you can get back to me, then that would really, I would really appreciate that. It's very difficult when I'm trying to communicate with, for 50 different kids and with different parents, and I send different messages out and without receiving any communication back. And it may be that you have an answer of, I don't know, or something like that, but that's fine. Just communicate with me. There are many parents who are wonderful at communicating with me, and they send me, stuff all the time. And I do appreciate that extra communication. Make sure that you are part of the Remind app. I believe that everybody is, but sometimes one parent is and not the other parent. So if you have a spouse or someone that needs to be on the Remind app that isn't on there, you can just send me a message through yours and say, hey, can we please add my husband? This is his phone number, his cell phone number. And that way I can add them in, and they'll be receiving everything as well. So as far as the Google Classrooms, I want you to get set up on the Google Classrooms before school starts on Tuesday. We still have about 4 days here. Oh, we have 4 days. Here before school starts. The reason being is, what if your child gets sick the night before? We want to be able to make sure that we can get people up and moving and going in the Google Classroom and be ready to go. So for that reason, after you watch this video, I am going to also be uploading a video regarding getting into your Google Classroom. If you already know how to get into the Google Classrooms through the codes that I will be giving you, if you already know how to do that, you don't have to watch that video necessarily. But if you question, I'm going to go through several different things that will help you navigate through it and make sure that you're able to get on. I'm going to be sending you a spreadsheet that you need to have your child join their classes. Now for like first grade, it's only going to be one class this year that they have to join. Second grade, third, all the way through sixth. 7th through 12th grade, they have multiple teachers. So they have to join all the classes that they are going to be in. If you have a question, is my child going to be in this class or not? Send me a message, I'll message you back. And I can also talk to the kids that first day, but as long as you get into the majority of those upper end classes, and I can look and see which classes they're not in, then we can figure it out from there. So I will be uploading that also right after this one is uploaded. And I will be sending also with that the Google Classroom class codes and how you need to join. There was one other thing that I did want to say. I am going to be pausing just a minute and going downstairs and kind of running through how the morning process is gonna go. But there was one other thing about the Google Classrooms that I was gonna say. Hi, I just want to go through the quick process when you guys come in through the door. So when the students come in, they're going to stop right here, and either myself or Mrs. Carvulius will be here to kind of check them in. They shouldn't just run right past. All the kids need to have on their mask when they come in through the door and walking through to the hallway, except for the preschool. So when you come through the door, we're going to make sure you have your mask on, ask you if you've been feeling well, and then they're going to be sanitizing their hands with the hand sanitizer here. If they're sensitive to hand sanitizer, they can go in the bathroom and wash their hands, but the majority of the time, they can just wash their hands with the hand sanitizer and go on to their classroom. Wait until you get seated in your classroom for your teacher to tell you when you can remove your face mask. But if you know that regarding the Google Classrooms, if you know that you were going to be out, there were two things I wanted to say along with that. If you know you're going to be out ahead of time, the night before, please message me so I can let the teacher know, because that way they can be prepared for the next day, because they're going to be teaching in class and trying to do remote things. Also, the orientation videos for the individual classes are being uploaded to your individual classroom. So once you get on, your student can see their classroom and their teacher talking with them. So once you get on there, let your students watch that, and so that they can get excited for their room. Once again, I'm going to be posting another video regarding getting onto your Google Classrooms. If you need that, please watch that. And I look forward to seeing you on Tuesday.